Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Today's What's for Dinner, I'm going to be showing you 2 savory fall crockpot meals. Let's get started. So the first meal is going to be a dump and go potato soup. This recipe is very simple. You're going to be using the southern style hash browns instead of like whole potatoes. You're going to need 2 cans of chicken broth. You're also going to need a can of cream of chicken soup. And you're going to also need a half of an onion and a package of cream cheese. First, you're just going to start out by putting your hash browns, your chicken broth, the cream of chicken soup, and the onion in the crock pot. Then you will later add the stick of cream cheese about 30 to 45 minutes before you're ready to serve, so it has time to melt. Now, I will say that this recipe was good, but I definitely, if I decide to make it again in the future, which I probably will just because it's so simple, I will tweak it a little bit. It was a little bit too rich and creamy for our taste. We like our potato soup a little bit more milky and I guess watery, for lack of a better term. So I think we would maybe skip the cream of chicken soup or only do half a block of the cream cheese and do a little bit extra chicken broth. I just think it was just a little too thick and a little too rich for our liking. But if you like rich, hearty potato soup, then this is definitely going to be your jam. It just wasn't our jam. That's my little review, rate and review on this potato soup recipe. Now, this is the part where you can add any spices or seasonings. I'm just going to be adding a little bit of pepper. I feel like the cream of chicken soup and the chicken broth have enough salt, so I'm not going to be adding any salt. And then I'm not really going to add any other seasonings. I just think this recipe was very flavorful, so it doesn't need a lot, but you could add like garlic or something like that. Now you are going to cover, and you can cook this on low for 6 hours or on high for 4 hours. I did high for 4 hours. And then I also decided that I was going to add some bacon bits and some chives. I just felt like usually when I have potato soup, it has bacon and chives in it, and it just gives it a little extra bump in flavor. So I went ahead and just added, I don't know, maybe like half of this bag of bacon bits, just like the pre-made, actual bacon bits. And then I just had some dried chives on hand, so I just added those in there as well. So now is the part of the recipe where I'm going to go in and add the block of cream cheese. As you can see here, I did cube up the cream cheese just to make it easier to melt. Also wish I would have just grabbed a knife, because watching me put this cream cheese in with my hands is cringing my soul. But anyway, so yeah, you're just gonna add in the block of cream cheese. Definitely cube it up so it'll melt quicker. And then I'm just gonna kind of bury it so the cheese, like all the heat from the rest of the recipe, will melt the cheese down. And you're gonna wait about 30 to 45 minutes, as I mentioned before, so everything gets melty. Now the cream cheese is melted and your soup is ready to serve. And then I'm just going to top with a little bit of this Colby Jack cheese, and I'm going to top with a little bit more chives. And I'm also going to be serving this soup with those cornbread biscuit that you may have saw in my grocery haul. By the way, they are delicious. I highly recommend. So on this night, I am making the famous Mississippi pot roast. It's not my recipe, but it's a delicious one and the only way I really make roast. So you're just going to take a chuck roast. You're going to add in about 2 tablespoons of butter. I am using plant butter just because that's what we use now. But you can use regular butter. It'll be just as good, probably better. Then you're going to add in a packet of au jus gravy mix. And then you're also going to add in a packet of ranch. Next up, you are going to add in several of the pepperoncini peppers. I typically add anywhere from 4 to 8, just depending on, you know, my patience, honestly, because it's hard to get them out sometimes. And then I'm just going to be adding in a splash of the juice. This is not a part of the recipe, original recipe, but this is just what I started to do because I really like the flavor of the juice on the meat. And then you're just going to cook this on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then I'm also cubing up and boiling some potatoes to make homemade mashed potatoes. And then I'm going to serve this with a side of green beans as well. As always, this recipe came out so good. The mashed potatoes were delicious, the roast was the bomb, and the green beans were good too. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and thanks for being my kind of weird. Bye!